Hi, Amber.
Hi, Megan.
Welcome to Bad Movies Rock.
Thank you, Megan. Megan, welcome to Bad Movies Rock, where we continue on our intended course.
Yes, we do.
The non-existent Jet Li trilogy that I will die to defend.
Yes, indeed. This is Amber's catastrophe of Jet Li early 2000s movies.
Indeed. This is Jet Li comes to American audiences, and studios attempt to make him palatable to our tiny little minds.
Well, yeah. Yep.
Their efforts continue. Actually, this is their first effort. This is now, we started with the last one, but we're moving to this one because it's my second favorite. And it is actually his first starring role. It followed his appearance as the antagonist in Lethal Weapon 4. But this is his movie. This is his first one outside of once he came from Hong Kong to here. And it is called Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die, Amber.
Weirdly, also another starring vehicle for another up-and-coming actor.
Yes. Aaliyah.
Oh, you're so sad when you say her name.
I do. It's just so sad.
Right, because she was super young and then she died.
Yeah, she died in a plane crash right before 9/11. Yep.
That is accurate, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I feel like, who were not born in the 80s or 90s, or really born before the 90s, because you would have had to kind of been listening to music at that point, wouldn't really know who she is. Yeah.
Except that the 20th anniversary, I guess, of her death is this week.
Well, that's the thing. I hadn't known this. And of course, we didn't intend this. This was entirely Jet Li motivated. But now that we're here, weirdly enough, this is the 20th anniversary of her death this month. A biography just came out about her. And she's a little bit back in the news because R. Kelly is back on trial. And one of the most well-known fucked up things he did was marrying Aaliyah secretly when she was 15.
Yeah.
And having a forged fake ID saying she was 18 to allow it to happen. There's so many things about her life and controversies. And again, because it was in the 90s, I know this won't surprise you, it reflected more negatively on her than it did on him.
Yes, she was essentially blacklisted in a way because she was seen as some sort of 15-year-old seductress, which is just fucked up beyond what my mind can handle.
Yes. She was the 15-year-old up-and-coming aggressor, and he was the 27-year-old established grown-ass man who took advantage of this talented young girl.
Right. And he in some ways was her mentor and shit like that. And so he had this very specific power dynamic over her, which is, extra
real gross.
Special fucked up. Yeah.
Real gross. But fuck him and fuck that situation, because she went on to work with Timbaland. She went on to work with Missy Elliott. She went on to make her fucking self, become very, very talented, very well known, and start getting into movies. She was, I think, 20 or 22 when she made this movie, 22 when she died, and she was in the process of making her second movie. Mm-hmm. What I didn't know is that her music isn't available on any streaming services and never has been. I think except for her very first album. So if you weren't around in the 90s when she was, and you don't have a hard copy, you don't have a freaking CD of her music, y'all haven't really heard it unless it's, on the radio.
Right.
So there's two generations of people who have, outside of YouTube, really can't access her music. And her music was great. Her music,
very good. Yeah.
She was very good.
Yeah.
And
I mean, she beat out Christina Aguilera. She beat out one of her songs beat out Britney Spears. She was in the 2000 time frame when her music was really kind of that up and coming. She was beating out household names that we know now.
She was beating out pretty blonde white pop stars, and that I'll bop along to Britney Spears. Christina Aguilera is a vocal powerhouse. Sure, but
absolutely.
Think about the fact that you have this Black female hip-hop artist, hip-hop R&B artist, who is beating out these perfect examples of mainstream commodified vocal talent. They're exactly what's easiest to sell to audiences, and here you have Aaliyah beating them the fuck out. It was great. And I loved her music. I loved her albums. I had the soundtrack to this because she's on it. her, like, this was of course back in the music video days, so I got to watch like the video that had like, you know, scenes from this movie. And
Yep.
so it's weird to be watching this while she's sort of having a moment again. Like, so I say this because her music is actually about to become available on streaming services again, I think on the 20th. Or not again, for the first time. So it's weird. It's this weird kind of kismet of events that we happen to be watching this.
Yeah.
And that Aaliyah is in the news right now. So Megan.
Yeah. Yes, Amber.
Let's do the thing that I've just decided to start doing.
Okay,
Confuse
let's do
you
it. Please do.
with prepackaged summaries brought to you by IMDb Metacritic and my favorite, Amazon.
Great.
We'll start with Metacritic this time. Loosely based on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Already she's there.
Uh-huh.
This crime plot features Jet Li as an imprisoned son of a Chinese crime family who escapes his Hong Kong prison and flees to Oakland to avenge the death of his brother, who is killed by the rival black crime family. That's all one sentence.
Okay.
Both families become involved in competing corrupt schemes to finance the building of a waterfront football stadium.
Wow. Uh-huh. Yep.
All of that is accurate, and when you put it all together like that, this shit's cockamamie and
Yes, it
weirdly
is.
pedestrian.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So wait, it's a football stadium thing? Huh?
Yeah.
Like, this is about...
It's all
And
about it's very buying up waterfront property.
And I love the loosely based on Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, it's got
References it, sure, and it definitely
Yeah.
is playing on the rival families' theme.
Yeah, it's got the star-crossed lovers idea in it,
but I don't really think they're going for a based on.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Let's move on to IMDb. An avenging cop seeks out his brother's killer and falls for the daughter of a businessman who is involved in a money deal with his father.
Okay, yeah.
That's true, but oddly misleading.
Yeah, simplified to the point of nonsense.
Indeed.
Uh-huh.
And then, Amazon. 2 warring families, one Chinese, one African American, are fighting for control of Oakland waterfront. Ex-cop Romeo, son of Chinese gang leader Chu Sing.
His name's not Romeo. What are you talking about?
But did you hear the rest of the sentence?
Sorry,
That's it. No, don't be, like, agreed. Your reaction is justified. But that was the end. I want you to have a chance to... It's 2 warring families, one Chinese, one African American, are fighting for control of Oakland waterfront, period.
Yeah.
Ex-cop Romeo, son of Chinese gang leader Chu Sing, period.
That's not a sentence.
Or information,
Or
really.
or accurate in any way.
His name is not Romeo. He's
No,
actually
it's not.
called by a couple different names. At one point, yes, someone refers to him as Romeo.
Briefly once, yeah.
But that's not the name of the character.
No.
And also, why are you telling... What is this sentence... What is it doing? What is this sentence informing me about? Okay.
Wow.
So the guy who's the Romeo is an ex-cop and the son of a Chinese gang leader.
I feel like this person had to write this it's like a, you know, when you're in school and had to write a book report, but you didn't read the book. Mm-hmm. This was like it was just so, and then you just kind of write things that are not sentences.
And like he had to write a certain number of characters
Exactly.
before he could
his
hit
word.
like post. So he's just, I need another sentence. Ex-cop Romeo is a son of what's Chu Sing, isn't it? Okay, send. Yeah, we go.
There we go.
This is good. It gets the point across.
Not a sentence and half of the information is incorrect. So great.
I love these. Megan.
Amber.
Do better?
I mean, you've covered kind of all the basics in a weird, deranged way.
Like a madman.
I mean, it's all about the shenanigans of these 2 families who are trying to... So, 2 families, but then they're also working with this other bad guy. What the hell's his name? Roth.
Indeed. A smarmy white guy.
Smarmy white guy. These 2 families have like a what would you call it? An understanding until the whole thing is kind of messed up by Henry O, who plays Chu Sing's son, being murdered by what they think is the other family. It's a whole thing, Amber. It's politics, with underground crime families.
Oh, this is definitely clarifying things.
I think I'm doing a great job. Thank you very much.
I definitely think you are. There's politics. They have an understanding, but then there's a murder, and then there's a misunderstanding about the murders. Assumptions are made.
Yes.
But the business deal still has to go through because money. Everybody's out to get money, more or less.
Yep.
Yeah. But Megan, what's the drama that we care about?
So the drama that we care about is Aaliyah's playing Delroy Lindo's daughter, and she just kind of happens into Jet Li, who is playing Henry O's son, and it was Jet Li's brother that gets murdered. Jet Li breaks out of prison in order to come avenge his brother. You're looking at me like I'm crazy. It is confusing. See,
I'm just trying to. I'm thinking about this from an outside perspective. We're just saying nonsense.
We are saying that. I guess our nonsense is just as much as their nonsense is, isn't it, Amber?
I think what we're realizing is that the movie is nonsense.
Yeah, I think I jumped in as if your explanations explained something, and I didn't need to start from the beginning.
I think to a certain extent they did. I honestly don't know. Two warring families that aren't currently warring, but then the son of one of the families is murdered, and the brother of that son is in prison in Hong Kong. He breaks out when he hears about the murder to come and avenge it and or figure out what happened, because he promised his mom he'd always take care of his little brother. In the course of that, he encounters Aaliyah, daughter of the other head of the gang. They kind of meet cute. There's some adorableness, and then they figure out there's a plot, and then maybe another plot, and maybe another plot. I don't know.
There's so many plots, and there's double crossing amongst the families themselves are in double crossing themselves. Like the families are murdering what their own.
Supposed to do.
Yeah.
Or they are doing what they're supposed to do, but it's all there's fire bombings, there's vicious crabbings.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
But what's important here? So there's some martial arts showdowns. There's Jet Li and Aaliyah. There's Delroy Lindo. There's DMX.
Yes.
Russell Wong, DB Woodside. Don't worry about it, people. Just turn off your brain for a minute.
Yeah. It's you know what it's kind of like, Amber? It feels like shoving a season of The Wire into a movie where there's so many double crosses and like surprises that are only kind of surprises.
Yes. Okay, that's fair. And then making it PG-13, but technically this movie is R, but it feels like you're watching a PG-13 movie.
Yeah. We decided that the R was probably just for like a brief showing of breasts in the very beginning. Totally necessary, obviously.
A very integral single breast showing, yes.
Yeah, totally worth the R rating.
I don't even think there was an F word. What a wasted R rating.
Yeah.
At least throw some fucks at me.
Exactly.
Decapitation. Even the violence wasn't ultra violence. They had some like Mortal Kombat X-ray vision stuff, but
yes,
that's not even.
No, that's CGI nonsense. Delightful nonsense.
But delightful, yeah. Well, I feel like this has been really helpful for the listener. I feel
like I've let you down, and I apologize.
No, I'm realizing this movie is difficult to describe, and that I love how terrible it is that I give you summaries and then expect you to do another summary.
Yeah, it's great. Let's keep going with this bit. I like it.
I think it's good. I think it's definitely leading to a lot less confusion and a lot more just quality content.
Agreed.
That's always our goal.
Amber, what did the critics have to say about this movie?
You know, this may surprise you, but they didn't like it. I know we usually do really well-regarded movies, and I mean, what we just described to you, you would assume at least 70 or 80%. No. 52 for critics on Metacritic, and 73 for the users.
Yeah, I'm at 32 critics, 61 users for Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, geez. Okay, so that's low. All right. Yep.
Yes.
These blurbs are at some points confusing, at other points maddening.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sounds about right. Sounds like yeah.
The standard thing. I mean, what we do here more often than not is respond to the critics, say go fuck yourselves, and then move on to the stuff that we actually loved about the movie, assuming we loved things about the movie. Quite a few people did find it entertaining, even while, admitting that it's not very good. There were definitely comments on how this isn't as good as Jet Li's, Hong Kong films, which, no. Those are martial arts films. Those are...
Right. Those are actual, yeah.
And the director of this is Andres Bartkowiak. Probably murdered that name.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've seen it before because he also did the other Jet Li DMX movie, Cradle 2, the number 2, Grave.
Yes.
And then another DMX Steven Seagal mashup, which I think was called Exit Wounds. Mm-hmm. And, he has a thing. But I don't think they really know how to direct and find choreographers to do, or choreographers. They could graph the choreo.
Absolutely.
They're doing an American movie. So what they're trying to do is have like a story and a whole drama and romance, but then not really showcase the action so much as just have it be part of it. I don't know. I'm just saying things. But what I'm saying is, don't look at this movie as a good example of a action film.
No, it is not a good example. I mean, one of the things that was said is that, like, for two essentially, although to call Jet Li a novice actor, I guess he's a novice actor in terms of, being in an American film. But the fact that, you've got Jet Li and you've got Aaliyah, and this is Aaliyah's first role, it's actually pretty impressive, like, that they are, do so well. Aaliyah especially is like, does this really, she can act.
Yeah, she can. And like Jet Li can act too, and now he has to do it in English.
Right.
And so like, Absolutely. He's got like, she's doing it for the first time, and he's doing a leading man role while learning English.
Right.
So it's not the best showcase of his action. Honestly, the acting is really good, especially considering how poor the dialogue and like writing is. Like there's some really cute moments, and I feel like they pull them off really well.
Yes, absolutely.
Which brings me to the frequent determination by the critics that there is an utter lack of sexual chemistry between Lee and Aaliyah, sucking all the urgency out of the relationship between the star-crossed lovers. And that's our old friend Maitland McDonough, TV Guide.
Oh, fun. Thanks.
I would clap back at that on two levels.
Yes, please.
One, why does the chemistry have to be sexual? Just in and up. The Good two question. Hug. They don't even kiss in this movie. And we can kind of talk about why that may or may not be, like why there isn't more physical romance in this between our two leading actors. I have some questions about that.
I've got at least a couple answers followed by more questions about that. Yes.
Fair. Mm-hmm. But while there is some suggestion of romance between the two, where they are clearly flirting, there is no physical relationship there. So why would there be sexual chemistry? Yeah.
And there's chemistry between, like, there's
chemistry
between them.
There is delightful chemistry between them. Maybe they're just going to be really great asexual fucking partners. Fucking McDonough, huh? But yeah, so a lot of people kind of pick at the chemistry between them. I have some thoughts on that, critics. I'm hoping I'm wrong about it. And then other weird inscrutable blurbs. Aspires to rise above the conventional drugs and action genre and succeeds about half the time. This is by Lawrence Topman of the Charlotte Observer. Drugs and action? Megan, were there any drugs in this movie?
I'm just now trying to think of that, Amber. I don't, like, it was all real estate deals. There was no, like, there were two crime bosses, but I don't remember there ever being any.
There were two instances of drugs. One, we see Delroy Lindo's son, played by D.B. Woodside, smoking weed with his girlfriend. That actually might be why it got the R rating.
Oh, come on.
And then we see Jet Li blow some white powder out of his dead brother's secret cane compartment.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that too. But yeah, like, come on.
But are the drugs a part of the plot?
No, there's
Are
nothing
these
to
gangs
do.
warring over drugs, selling drugs?
No, it's a real estate deal. Like, when you break it down, they're doing real estate deals.
So what... I guess I would assume there is a drugs and action genre. This is no part in that. And I'm a little curious why Lawrence Topman decided that a movie in which it's entirely people of color somehow involved drugs just automatically.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just moving on from
Yeah.
that one.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people alluded to the fact that it's not a very good Romeo and Juliet
Yeah.
version.
This hip-hop Romeo and Juliet is awful,
But that's not at all what it is. There
it's
is
not what it
hip-hop
is.
music in it, and there are black people in it, but it's not...
Mm-hmm.
It references it, but I really don't think it's going for
No, it's not. And
Shakespearean experience.
yeah, it is. It's pretty. I think it's very telling that you've got a bunch of the critics saying shit like that, and it's not the Romeo and Juliet part. Fine, that the makers of the film kind of asked for it by putting Romeo in the title. Fine, people are going to make that kind of connection. But to call they talk about, you know, it being hip hop. They talk about it being drug fueled. They talk about, you know, I don't know. It's just like, okay, so like you said, are they doing this because we've got a cast of just about all people of color? Yeah, probably.
I don't
DMX
know.
is in this, but like it's not about. What are they doing, Amber?
I don't know. In this one, William Arnold, Seattle Post-Intelligencer, in fact, when not kicking butt, leaves kind of a blank spot in the center of the screen. What did you just say to me, motherfucker?
Mm-hmm.
Did you just suggest to me that despite having to do a leading man role in English, he is charismatic and his comedic timing is wonderful?
Very good, yes.
Go fuck yourself, Arnold. I feel like the Time review is a good one. It's 60% scored. Richard Corliss doesn't touch Lee's Hong Kong movies, but it is trying something clever. And a couple of other people mentioned, like, it's a fine vehicle to introduce him to American audiences. Like, it's a good way to get started. Yes.
Right.
Thank you. It's fun. Shut your brain off. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
The music is great. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Some of them say the music is distracting. I don't know you. Get out of my house.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're incorrect. So just talking about the Romeo and Juliet aspect, Aaliyah actually was offered the role of Juliet in that Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes Romeo and Juliet. She just
non-existent ball sack.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
I know. Aaliyah decided, well, according to the brief thing that I read, Aaliyah decided not to do it because she thought it wasn't the time that she wanted to get into movies yet. But man, that would have been delightful.
That would have been unbearably iconic.
Yeah, it would have been amazing.
For so many
reasons. Yeah.
Could you imagine early 2000s? Aaliyah is Juliet. You've got a mixed racial black woman Juliet situation happening. What?
Yes.
I want that from my past.
I know.
That's a thing I needed to see.
Yeah, it would have been amazing. It would have been like a game changer and sadly ahead of its time. Speaking of, apparently, Amber, and this is getting to a point that you were making, there was an alternate ending of this movie filmed where Aaliyah and Jet Li kissed. It was reported that this ending was not liked by the test screening audience, who were uncomfortable with, you got it, Amber, an interracial romance.
I'm so mad. Oh, I'm so furious. I was ready to be mad. I was already a little mad, and now I'm just...
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you!
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my I knew it. I fucking knew it. And
I know.
And fuck you, critics, for fucking blaming the movie for the shit that is your shit that it had to deal with. It was trying to make this adorable romance between... Okay. Critics Corner.
Mm-hmm.
Usual go fuck yourself noise. But also, all of the things that you missed, we now need to talk about. So let's talk about the biggest thing. This is a movie which has almost no white people in it.
Yep. Like 2-ish with
And
speaking
they're
roles.
cartoonishly smarmy, dumb bad guys.
Yep.
It's like watching a Spike Lee movie. You have a Chinese man and a black woman as your leads.
Yes.
And as your romantic interest. What is happening? This is beautiful.
Yeah.
It was a movie that I hadn't seen before. It's mostly brown people. White people are somewhere else doing their own thing. Yes, they are criminals, but not all of them. It's not a situation in which you're in gangland and everybody's like associated with the gangs. You have Aaliyah and you have Jet Li who are not living that life.
Right.
Like she's got her own business. It's like a community center. She's got she's got this awesome fucking shop where she's got like clothes. She's got somebody spinning. It's kids come there to just hang out. It's a cafe with an espresso machine. It's called Serpentine Fire after the Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, I mean, it's unbearably cool. And it just shows the normalcy of it. And even there's, you know, a scene where there's a game of football. It's people living their lives, but also with all the drama of like gangland. But even the gangland drama isn't drug based. It isn't even like violence is a part of it and criminality is a part of it, but it's fucking land deals.
Yeah. The whole point is Aaliyah's dad, Delroy Lindo, is he's going legit. Like his plan is to like get this land deal done, and that's him going legit. So he's getting out of the crime lord business. Yeah.
And even his ultimate goal is ownership.
Right.
He doesn't even want the check at the end of the movie. And we'll talk about this. But he's made that realization that the point is there needs to be a black man in the owner's box.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delroy Lindo, there does need to be. There were so many cliched, stereotypical tropes that were definitely played out in this movie. But there were a lot of things that were new, that were different. And most importantly, you had a mixed racial romance at the center of it in which neither of them was white.
Right.
And I didn't see a single critic mentioning that. In fact, they just complained about the fact that there wasn't enough sexual chemistry between the two of them. And fucking know why there wasn't? Because test audiences didn't want to see that shit. So instead we're left with this still really sweet, adorable chemistry. They flirted, but there was none of the usual physical culmination of like intimacy, touch, kiss, because y'all racist motherfuckers didn't want to see that.
You know, it's fine to have like a romance that's not sexual, but also they had to make it a romance that wasn't sexual because otherwise people would be mad at the fucking movie. It's such a...
That's the problem. Like, I would love an asexual romance. That would be delightful, but I don't want an asexual romance by default because it would make people uncomfortable. And so there are so many adorable scenes that would have gone farther if the two characters were white.
Yes. Oh, or 100%.
Or at least one of them was white.
Yep.
And in which case it would have, at the end when they kissed, it would have been that culmination of that like romantical longing. You know, you could have had the usual arc and nobody would have complained about it because all of those scenes were sweet and charismatic. They were connecting. Aaliyah was doing her thing. Lee was doing his thing. And then they had to stop.
Right. Yep.
That makes it fucking awkward. Not on them.
No, it is not.
Like you're going to get right up into the line and like, okay, I'm going to go home.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
We'll see ya. Handshake. Like it's sorry, my mother's standing right behind me, so we can't. Kind of a situation.
Yeah. Yeah, Amber, it's frustrating to see this stuff that doesn't come out in at least the mainstream critic like shit that we read. You know?
Yeah, the ones that are aggregated to let you know whether or not this movie is worth watching.
And there were some like 2020 reviews of this movie that I saw that also did not mention this. Like this is not like all 2000s fault. 20 years later, there's still not. Yeah. Anyway.
Seriously?
Yeah.
This seems important to me. I'm trying to think of another movie where this is anything. Like so few movies star non-white dudes. Like so few movies have non-white women as romantic leads or as leads in general. And so few movies have a majority non-white cast. when they're not all criminals and the entire focus is on criminality. Like, so much more of this movie was, despite all of the weird, bizarre machinations, family was a part of this. People mourned the loss of people. People were wounded by death. It wasn't just a, well, you know, streets are raw, baby. It was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something unexpected and revolutionary is a crazy word to use, but groundbreaking-ish, barrier smashing-ish. And while it got to the edge and then pulled back because the test audiences said, oh, it still went out there and did its thing. And it is an imperfect movie. The story is not great. The dialogue is often laughable, but fucking little engine that could's the moments that are good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just in existing makes me happy.
Agreed.
Let's talk about the things that make us happy and or the things that we're kind of thinking,
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that thing.
Okay.
Amber.
Megan.
I just need to tell you that the beginning of this movie starts off with a fight in a club. It's DMX's club, right? That's right.
Yes, it's his casino. Silk's casino.
Casino, yeah. And it's just, it ends up being like, it ends up being a fight that Russell Wong gets involved in, and it's you know, you get some martial arts, and then of course it goes to guns, and it becomes a gun standoff, and then the best thing in the world happens, Amber, which is we learn that the most practical way to de-escalate a gun stand off is to just fire a machine gun in the air, and that really kind of calms everybody's nerves.
Yeah, if you have like a few dozen, well, it's just not a dozen, like about a dozen people all pointing guns at each other at point blank range in a tense situation, definitely the best thing to do is to fire off a few rounds.
Right. Because then everybody doesn't pull the trigger instinctually. They all kind of look up at you and realize that maybe guns are bad.
It was lovely and logical. And I think, you know, DMX's entrance, you know, he shoots off a few rounds. Guns don't kill people. People kill people.
What's happening here?
I think that the thing that made me laugh when you mentioned the opening scene of this movie is that, in fact, before we get to Silk's casino,
yes, okay,
we have that wonderful scene
right, yes.
that happens in many movies. You know, you're driving through the darkened streets. You've got the title credits coming up, and you've got the, you know, actors' names coming up, and all the while these men in this car are locking and loading their various weapons in a fast-moving vehicle, none of them wearing seatbelts. And your response was, yes, the best place to load a gun is in a fast-moving vehicle. Everything is controlled and stable. Nothing unexpected could possibly happen.
No.
Definitely don't do this before you get in the car.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I don't think I've ever thought about those scenes before. You've seen them so many times. You know, okay, everybody's getting ready. Cha-chink, cha-chink, cha-chink.
They're taking off their safeties. They're,
taking off their safeties in the car while you're still maybe 10 minutes away from your desk. It's, what are you, unless you're going to shoot out the car window, what are you doing? And also, even then, why didn't you get it ready before you got in the car?
Before you jumped in the car,
What is this scene?
Yeah. Right, because all I can think of in that case is like a Pulp Fiction type accident happening, and
exactly
awful. Anyway, yeah, but you got to have the moment where everybody cocks their guns, Amber. That's the dynamic bit of it all.
And of course, this scene exists just to show Jet Li's brother Poe at Silk's casino. So he's, of course, one of the Chinese side,
right?
In the black side of town. Mm-hmm. And then he winds up dead.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was, I mean, it was probably...
It had to be. It's
probably Delroy Lindo's people. Mm-hmm. And that sets off the whole thing. That we have a prisoner comes into the prison where Jet Li is and whispers in his ear. Jet Li immediately attacks some guards and then does an amazing prison escape.
Yeah.
In which he takes out 4 people with his arms manacled while he's hanging upside down by one leg.
Yes. And it's one of these things where, like, that's a great scene. It's a fantastic scene. And Jet Li was really hanging upside down by his ankle. I mean, I'm sure there were extra, like whatever ties and whatever to take the pressure off just that ankle. But like he was upside down swinging around.
Mm-hmm. Taking out those guys.
Doing some shit. It was fantastic.
My favorite part of it is at the end where there's the one guy left and he tries to run out of the room and Jet just swings over and yanks him back.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then the keys are on the ground and he uses the chain from the manacles to like scoop it and swing it up. And then he has to catch the keys in his mouth. I want to know how many takes it took for him to actually catch the keys in his mouth.
Yep. Yeah.
For some reason, we don't see the long, protracted, and probably perilous way he got into the States, having just broken out of prison in Hong Kong.
Yep.
I guess we assume if he can do a daring prison escape, he can smuggle himself into the United States.
He can get to Oakland. Yeah, not a problem.
Then he immediately steals a cab.
Mm-hmm. He does.
Because the cab driver was kind of being rude to him. But he was kind of being rude to the cab driver because the cab driver did say he was off duty.
Right.
It was ultimately a dick move to steal the cab.
It was, but what's done is done, Amber.
We needed
Free cars.
We needed the meet cute.
Yes, we did. Which is, Aaliyah gets in this cab, and he says he's off duty, but,
She gives him a 50 and says, and she's clearly being chased.
Right. That kind of sparks his, like, oh, I should help this person out. Indeed.
Anthony Anderson plays Maurice, Delroy Lindo's, basically one of his lower level enforcers in his organization. Maurice shows up at Serpentine Fire, the coolest fucking store in the world, and informs her that, tensions are high. The other side's son was just murdered. Obviously, Delroy Lindo, Isaac O'Day is Delroy Lindo's character, wants to protect his kids. He's got D.B. Woodside, Colin, and Aaliyah, Trish, as his kids. So, he assumes that retribution is coming, even though he knows he didn't do it.
Right.
So Maurice is sent to, secure Trish and keep her safe. She wants no part of this. She doesn't want anything to do with Isaac O'Day's business. She's legit. She doesn't want this nonsense. She loves her baby brother Colin, but he's up to his neck in that shit too, and she wants no part of it.
Right. And Maurice is a bit of a, he keeps hitting on her / calling her stuck up. Like he's
not fun.
He's not fun, nor is he good at protecting.
He's pretty incompetent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's like a little sadistic streak in there, So she escapes into the cab. And for me, this scene was adorable.
It was very good.
I thought it was very good. She looks at, the license in the back and it says Akbar. And he's like, yeah, that's my name. Mm-hmm. She's like, Akbar, you can't be stealing cabs. Mm-hmm. That's not really a good way to go. But she's sweet about it. She's not like, I'm not going to turn you in. Clearly, some stuff is going on for you. I don't know about that, but okay, maybe she just really trusts that she's a good judge of character. My favorite part is at the end where he turns around and he's like, so what's your name? She's like, you think I want you, Colin? And he's like, I don't have a phone. And then gives this adorable smile, just like, so what does it matter? Just tell it. It's really cute.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really cute, quirky, meet cute situation that is completely bonkers. She gets into a cab that's clearly stolen with a man who's up to some shit, and she's just completely calm about it.
Yeah, she wants to get away from Maurice more than anything.
Guess it was worth it.
But yes. Mm-hmm.
But of course, these two crazy kids will never cross paths again, except...
Oh, Amber.
And this makes perfect sense. Jet Li, while investigating his brother's death, goes to his brother's luxury apartment, does some investigating, hits redial. The number is Serpentine Fire.
Yes.
Aaliyah's store.
Right.
So it leads him back to her, where of course he learns that sometimes Colin makes calls from Trish's store. It all makes sense.
It all makes total sense.
Which then leads them to think that maybe Colin and Poe were going to meet up about something. And then Colin gets murdered with his lady friend, which just seems
that
wrong.
Poor lady friend,
That poor lady friend. And now everybody's getting killed. Trish gets pulled into the father's house for safety. We have to keep Jet Li away. They know they're hanging out now, but God damn it, these families are just at each other probably. Mm-hmm. But we got to make sure this deal goes down. We just got to make sure The deal goes down. But what is the deal? Oh, right. So both organizations are buying up waterfront property from their separate racial groups, basically.
Right. Yep.
Like Isaac O'Day is acquiring black barbershops and black crabbing outfits.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry O. Chu Sing, the character is Chu Sing, is buying up Chinese businesses. I don't think we even get a sense of what they are. What we do know is that every time they visit one of these places, either Jet Li goes to one of these places and everyone's dead, or Russell Wong, who is Kai, Chu Sing's enforcer, as Mac is Isaac's enforcer. When Kai shows up, he just blows shit up. And when Mac shows up, he threatens them with guns or crabs, or sends a... So basically, you have Kai and Mac just murdering business owners and taking their deeds, because I think that's how things work.
Right.
Then they're going to give them to the white guy, and then they're going to get money.
Right.
And for Isaac, it's walking away money. And for Chu Sing, it seems to just be money. And also, in the midst of this, he also kills the heads of the other families in his organization so that he can have all of the money.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot.
It's sort of a fever dream of weird intrigues. What's important is that while investigating this, Trish and Han Sing are brought together.
Mm-hmm.
They get to dance in a club to an Aaliyah song.
Where she mouths the words
to her own song. Words to her own song while dancing around what appears to be an extremely uncomfortable Jet Li.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so.
He does not look at ease. And I don't know that he's supposed to, because of course he's the only non-black person in this club.
Mm-hmm.
And she's adorable the whole time.
Yes, absolutely.
This movie makes no sense. Things just happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a football game. I don't know if you knew this, Megan. Why does this happen, you ask yourself? Because Jet Li once again encounters Aaliyah, I think on purpose.
Yeah.
We don't know how he knew she was at the park.
Right.
Maybe they went there together. I honestly don't remember at this point, but she's hanging out with some kids. She's buying them ice cream.
Buying them ice creams, yeah.
It's really sweet. And, one of them's like, oh, I wanted the yellow one. It's yellow and green ice cream, of course. And she's like, oh, he's the baby. Give him the yellow one. And then she offers one to Jet Li. And he very adorably says, I want the yellow one.
You can't have a yellow one. Yeah.
I think it's adorable flirting. It's very sweet.
They go into the park and they sit where nearby where Aaliyah's I guess, are they even friends? Anyway, where Isaiah Washington and Anthony Anderson are having a football game, and Jet Li gets pulled into the football game to kind of show off for Aaliyah.
Oh my god. Why does this happen? They're clearly intending to beat the crap out of him because they don't like that he's hanging around her.
Right.
And he's not in, he blows them off, like, politely, but his character is so fucking cool. He has nothing to prove to anyone.
No.
At this point, he's already beaten up Maurice and like a bunch of his thug guys.
Mm-hmm.
He's at Aaliyah's apartment and they're chatting, and then Maurice shows up and he pretends to be a Chinese delivery guy, like takes some money from her and walks out being like, thank you, dim sum. Mm-hmm. They realize he's not a delivery guy. And then he just casually beats them all up while strolling away.
Yep.
He just he's walking by them. They're trying to intimidate him. He's like, yeah, I'm good. See ya. And they come at him. He's like, okie dokie, I'll fight you. And he's just sort of grinning at them the entire time. One of them, he takes his belt off of him. His pants fall down, and then uses his own belt to hog tie him.
Yep.
And then again, continues to stroll away while the rest of them run after him. He is not moving quickly.
Yes. Yeah.
Once they're all on the ground, he then hops a fence and steals their car.
Mm-hmm. At which point, what does he say, Amber? It's a very good line.
Oh, it's something like, I love this country. Free cars.
Yeah, this is like the third car that he's taken. Yeah.
He doesn't care. So he's looking at these people that he has already manhandled.
Yep.
And being like, nah, I don't have anything to prove. And then he's like, oh no, like, football is very attractive. And he's like, all right. He does it to impress her, maybe?
Yeah. He's taken down twice and then is told that you're allowed to tackle the guy with a football. And so then for the rest of the game, he hands people the football so he can beat them up.
Brutalize them.
Oh, it's great.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He learns the rules of football enough so that he can just annihilate everyone on the field. Anthony Anderson in particular, he keeps throwing the ball to him, and then as Anthony Anderson tries to get rid of the ball, Jet Li stops it and then shoves it back into him so he can continue to attack him.
Yes, exactly. You get to take down Jet Li twice, and never again.
Never again.
Yeah. No, you're lucky you got that twice. It's just because Aaliyah was watching.
He wanted to play by the rules because there were also children watching who thought he was just the coolest. Mm-hmm. He comes back over to Aaliyah after they're just all the grown men are moaning on the ground, and he just high fives all the kids saying, "Brother."
Yep. It's very cute.
It's just adorable. And he gets his ice cream cone back, which hasn't even melted.
Yeah, impressive.
There is some fine, choreography and fight scenes. I think him leaving from Aaliyah's apartment is a good one. Zip ties
That's
and
fun. Yeah.
Belts. The critics aren't wrong. They do use kind of harnesses and wire work and some weird effects to make things artificial, and things aren't really shot very well. They are choppy. You don't get much of a sense of the action, which is such a weird technique to use on somebody as good as Jet Li. And Russell Wong, also pretty talented.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to use, you don't need special effects and harnesses when you have Jet Li. Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
Why are you hiring Jet Li if you're going to do that stuff?
Especially the last fight between him and Russell Wong is particularly, like, there are really good parts of it, and then it just kind of devolves into, what? That's not physics.
Right. This should be, I mean, it is the final kind of interesting standoff fight, but it's just, they take it too far.
They do. There's some car chases, which are fine. It's the usual trope of chasing a car with a motorcycle. Most of the motorcycles get knocked over, and then and there's a fist fight at the end. But because the last motorcyclist is a woman, Jet Li cannot punch her. He can't hit a girl.
He can't hit a girl, yeah.
But he can hit a girl with a girl.
Yes, yeah.
So he pulls Aaliyah out of the car and uses her fists and legs to attack this woman.
This was Jet Li's idea. Like, if Jet Li, the person, came up with this idea, according to IMDb.
It was shot very well. Like, it was very graceful.
Very
like, Aaliyah was, like, very fluid. It was, like, dancing, but someone got, like, knocked away every time. And then he basically uses her to kill this woman. It's accidental.
Yeah.
But she definitely is used as a murder weapon.
Yeah.
She bounces right back, though.
She does. Aaliyah's fine with it, apparently.
To be fair, she did just walk into the site of a mass murder maybe 5 minutes before this, so she's processing a lot.
There were, all the people.
And her brother was thrown out of a skyscraper.
She's
having a freaking week.
Yeah. Yeah, this one person falling whoops-a-daisy into, like, a random rebar doesn't really, break it into the top 3 terrible things she's seen that day.
That does seem pretty reasonable, yeah. It's a weird movie.
It's
a weird movie, Megan.
It's delightful bits in it.
Right? Those, like, the scenes between Jet Li and Aaliyah are such highlights for me. Even the weird, awkward dancing, almost entirely the weird, awkward dancing on the dance floor, just because she's mouthing the words to her own song. It's so great. But the plot,
it's so convoluted, and
So, because I feel the need, I will explain.
Okay.
What's happening here is a classic scenario of each gang is forcing people to give up their properties, whether they want to or not, in order to build a football stadium and make a lot of money. However, Delroy Lindo's character is unaware that these strong-arm techniques are being perpetrated.
Yes.
He thinks these business owners are selling or dying tragically all at once on their own.
Yeah, he has to be a little bit blind to it, but yes. Yeah. He's kind of sent Isaiah Washington to do his dirty work and is not asking a lot of questions about how it's getting done.
Right. Mac is his second-hand man. I think he's delegated too far because he's already ready to get out of it. He's practicing playing golf.
Yep.
You know, explaining to Mac how all future decisions when you're legitimate are going to be done on the green. You know, he's already in that legitimate businessman mindset. And Mac, meanwhile, is like, is there going to be a place for me in this new outfit? He's like, don't worry. And his, son Khan's like, what about me? I was going to lead the gang. And he's dead. We don't care anymore what he thinks. But Chu Sing, Henry O's character, he knows what's going on. He's a part of it. He's murdering people. He's on. He's in it. He and Russell Wong are simpatico.
Yep.
What we didn't know is that Mac also killed Colin and Russell Wong killed Poe.
Right. On Henry O's order, like Henry O killed his own son.
Yeah.
And it was because he said that Poe was an embarrassment. Poe, played by John Kit Lee, was an embarrassment and couldn't ever take over the family business. So he tried to teach Poe, but he could not, and so he had to get rid of Poe. It's kind of a dual thing he was doing.
And it also seemed like Poe was maybe going to betray them to D.B. Woodside's character, Colin. Yeah. Because he had like a list of all the businesses that had to be that they still didn't have the deeds for, hidden in his cane that Jet Li finds. But also that might not mean anything. That was probably just like a way to get them to those businesses, to get them deeper into. We don't know.
We don't know why. Yeah.
Nothing means anything.
Tasked with doing this shit? Or, yeah.
So, of course, at the end of all of this, there's another gun standoff in some sort of business penthouse.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In which
where business deals happen.
Where business deals happen in the business penthouse. And, of course, everyone brings their guns, especially their suitcase automatic rifles.
Obviously. This was very funny to me. Like, you just drop the suitcase part of the suitcase and the handle becomes like the handle of the gun, and then you just shoot people, Amber.
Yep. And these all happen at night, and all of the deeds had to be like collected and given all in the same room.
Person.
All at the same time in person. And then they get their $38 million checks, and Henry O just walks away with his. He's happy. But Delroy Lindo. This is the moment. This is the big move he's been telling everyone about.
Yep.
Hands the check back.
He doesn't want the money.
Doesn't want the money. He wants that owner's box. He wants to be a business partner. That's how you get it done. You become one of the guys with the NFL team, I guess.
Yeah. One of the box owners. One of the
is he part owner of the stadium or the team? Are they the same thing?
I don't know. How
does football work?
I think probably the stadium and the team are probably two different things, but it's unclear to me if the guy was. I mean, he's definitely getting the stadium done. I don't know about the whatever. Who knows, Amber? Who
knows? It doesn't matter because Mac is not having it. He's like, this is your big move? You want to be in the owner's box? Fuck you, fuck this. I'm going to kill everybody. I want the criminal business. That's what I want. And so he shoots him. He's also got Aaliyah as kind of a hostage. He also tells everybody he killed Colin. It's not great. He's gone real dark side.
Yeah, he has.
To be fair, he's with dark side the whole time. He's been killing people, threatening people, and just manhandling Aaliyah in a really disgusting way.
Yeah. Half flirting with her, mostly manhandling. Yeah, it's
in
gross.
Just very misogynistic ways, which is why her shooting him to death is very satisfying.
Yep.
Also, the white guy doesn't get away with the deeds.
Yes, he does not.
Despite the briefcase automatic rifle.
Yep. He actually, they go to the roof, obvious. So, Amber, you know how in your business high rise where you do all your business deals with your briefcase guns?
Yes.
You always have to have a helicopter on the top, on the roof, because you might need to get away.
Yeah, why are you even telling me this? This is obvious. This is like
I know.
Business penthouse deed selling 101.
Yeah. He's got this is Edardo Ballerini plays Roth, and he's got the case with all the deeds in it, which happens to also be bulletproof because he holds it up so he doesn't get shot. But then, Amber, the briefcase falls, and all the deeds are scattered on the roof. And he tells the helicopter pilot to go back, and the helicopter pilot's like, "Fuck no!"
And he flies away.
Die for your fucking deeds, you madman!
What is this shit? I also don't know. So, does he have the checks too? Well, I guess no, Henrio has his check, but what? The business deal isn't getting done, I guess. So that's what I am just realizing now, Megan.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is that all of those people were murdered for no reason.
Yeah, Amber, how embarrassing. All those people had to die or be threatened by crab justice to get their deeds. And I guess no stadium gets built. Although maybe Delroy Lindo gets the deeds and gets to make the stadium. Although I don't think that's also how deeds work. I think you sign them over to somebody specific, and it's not just holding the deed in your hand that makes you have the property. I don't know.
Well, Mac did say that when he shot DMX to death, that he just signed the deed over himself.
Yeah, true. I guess when everybody's dead, you can do with it, and you've got the deeds, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
It is. I mean, signatures are kind of a joke at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If it really is just a matter of signing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have a decent forger, even just a halfway decent forger. Do people even really compare signatures?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, so kind of, all those poor people could have had their businesses, and they're just gone. Anyway.
So many corpses, though.
Yeah, so many corpses, so many blown up, barges, so many people with crab claw marks on their faces. Yeah.
I mean, I feel most bad for the blown up barbershop and the crab guy because, they're dead and he doesn't have his business anymore. But the barge did seem to be like a heroin barge.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I guess there's more drugs. There's a little bit more drugs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so there was a third drug instance. Rule of threes.
But again, the movie was not about the drugs. And marijuana is such a non-drug that it's a little rude to really call that an instance.
Yeah, that scene was not great.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was trying to accomplish. It's right before D.B. Woodside's character is thrown out the window with his lady friend. He's just high and smoking and kind of talking big about, when's it going to be my time? When am I going to get to run the business? Why won't dad talk to me or trust me? And then he gets thrown out a window. I don't know what they're trying to do. And also, do we need to have a black man blazing on screen in this movie? Is that necessary?
Yeah.
I'm not saying weed is basically legal most places. But there's... Because of the way that it's been specifically criminalized in black and brown communities, I don't really feel the need to have this scene in a movie in the early 2000s. Like, no. It's not... I feel like casual weed use is fine, but in this context, it doesn't... It's
not
again...
necessary.
It's not necessary, and in 2000, it wasn't legal anywhere, really.
Yep. So
you're showing unnecessary drug use and criminal activity, specifically with black and brown characters. I didn't need that. I need that part.
No. And they kind of imply that the barge that they blew up was essentially an opium den, which is also, not fucking necessary.
Oh, you mean the Chinese criminals just ran opium dens with exclusive Chinese customers? So let me hold on. Interesting. Historically speaking, when drugs were made illegal, how was that accomplished? Was it? Oh, that's right. By specifically criminalizing the use of minorities. So was it heroin and opium were associated with Chinese criminality and Chinese use. And, marijuana was, predominantly associated with Central and South Americans, but also with black people in order to criminalize it. So, thank you for those stereotypes, movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did some lovely things, but gosh darn it, you still did the dumb shit too.
You still just totally wanged it with some shit.
Really aggressively wanged it.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to mention the warehouse hose fight.
Oh, yes, please do. Yes.
Wasn't terrible. Wasn't great. Was pretty good. Jet Li once again brutalizes Anthony Anderson's guys.
Yeah. They never learn. They don't learn, Amber. They should probably learn.
They don't learn. Some people complained about this one. Like, some critic reviews were just like, any guy with a hose can, like, you know, hose people away from them. It's not interesting as a fight scene. I'm like, it's funny because he uses the hose to, like, pressure wash these guys away from him, but then somebody axes the hose, and then the hose just be, like, the now empty hose is now a weapon in his hands and legs.
It's now more deadly. Like, I'd rather get
more deadly
pressure wash than hit in the face with a fucking, 1 foot metal end of a fucking hose.
The business end of a hose is a big metal kachunka that probably does some serious blunt force trauma when Jet Li is winging it at you.
Yeah.
With absurd precision.
Yeah, it's great.
And then I think he probably murders Anthony Anderson at the end of this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's another Mortal Kombat thing we get to see, right?
No. That doesn't give us X-ray vision, because he does get some words afterwards.
That is right. Right. Sorry, I was thinking actually of it was Kai that he telescoped the spine of.
Yep. Yeah, that was funny. And then the final fight between Kai and Han, Russell Wong, and Jet Li is pretty good. It's good. Yeah, there's some burning. Yep. Some good fisticuffs. There's some unpleasant wire work.
Yeah, and again, you've got Jet Li, you've got Russell Wong. Why are you doing anything that involves wire work? Why don't you just let them do the shit they can do super well?
I will say, for all the mistakes it made, and I think we haven't really gotten deep into them, but they definitely exist outside of the story, and like stereotypes and not great optics and racism. But I feel like Aaliyah's character is actually pretty decent.
Yes, absolutely.
Especially in a movie that is very much ruled by men and very much masculine in the way it kind of presents things, fights, activities, business. And there aren't a lot of women in this. She's pretty much the only one outside of the people she works at the shop with, and the women who are purely sex objects in the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. There are a handful of Eastern Asian women in this movie. The first few are literally used to make out with each other and as sex objects, and then the other one is murdered, and Jet Li won't punch her because she's a girl.
Right. Yeah.
Not awesome.
No, but not.
Aaliyah's character is actually pretty good. She's not she's not really a complete damsel in distress. She kills Mac herself. She kind of takes these things in stride. She's mad at her father, but she still loves him. She's mad at her brother, but she still loves him. She's not. I feel like she's actually a pretty balanced character, if you also take into account just how crazy and unbalanced the world is. She does react to things in a way that is just kind of chill, considering, but
right. Yeah. But she really feels it when her brother dies, and like in terms of like acting, like that is, a very touching
and she's telling scene. That story about how they tricked their mom, and I feel is gut-wrenching. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird to find that in a movie like this. The story itself actually perfectly captures the sensation of what she's going through. Mm-hmm. She's telling Jet Li this story about how when they were kids, they thought it would be really funny for her to pretend that Colin had been really hurt, and like to go run and tell their mom that like Colin was hurt. And he'd be lying on the ground pretending to be, dead or unconscious, and then he'd jump up and they'd laugh. But instead her mom just like burst into tears and just held him tight.
Right.
And she's like, I didn't understand, but I do now. Mm-hmm. It's like,
Yep.
Just because he's dead and he's not getting back up. And she's crying. It's good. That woman she had talent, man.
Yep. Yeah, so Aaliyah definitely has her own agency. She's got her own business. She's got her own, I do enjoy that.
And none of it really feels like, she took her father's money and built the business itself. We don't really know how it happened, but it really does seem like she's not the female character, or even just the character in general, who's like, I don't like that you're in a criminal life, but you definitely bought my house and my car.
But you bankroll me. Yeah. So,
yeah. It seems like she built her own situation, and it was about like creating a safe space in the community. Like, like outreach to kids. It's implied more than it's said But I feel like there is like a demonstration that she clearly, and it's, I don't know, it doesn't seem as hypocritical as you usually kind of find in these characters.
Absolutely. To just button the movie up, after Kai's dead, we get an interaction between Jet Li and his dad, where we learn that the whole reason that Jet Li was in prison was because essentially he'd gone to prison for Henry O's crime, and Henry O and Jet Li's little brother left the country so that they didn't get put in prison. And so we kind of learned that that's why Jet Li was in prison in the first place.
He was originally a cop. He was arrested for helping them escape, so his father wouldn't be executed. Yeah, because he promised his mom he'd always take care of his little brother. And this shows you he's doing a great job acting in English. Is like yes. They don't give him a ton of lines, and I think that's really the best way to do it. Like, he acts with his physicality, his expression, his presence, and I feel like he does accomplish this. But the scene with his father that he gets to do all in his actual native language, where it's sort of like the scene where Leah's telling the story about her brother and her mom. He's like, you're the father. You're supposed to take care of your son. I promise. Like, you motherfucker. How could you do this? It's intense, and it's emotive, and it's good. It's like this good dramatic turn at the very end of this ridiculous movie. And then his father pulls out a gun and slides it across the desk. And he says, well, I guess you want to take your revenge. I guess it would be appropriate since, I'm the one who killed your brother, my own son. And he, he's like, nah, man, I'm going to let this play out. Like, I'm sure the other families will come for you if the cops don't get you first.
Right.
And he turns around and walks away, and his dad picks up the gun. And we see Jet Li, and we hear a gunshot. And of course, you have that, dude, did he just shoot his son? No, he shot himself in the head.
Yep.
But it's, as he hears the gunshot, Jet Li has that freeze moment. And there is this moment of kind of like grim sadness and regret.
Right.
On his face. It's well acted, motherfuckers.
Very well acted. Absolutely.
In this dumbass movie. There are some great glimmers and some real garbage. I'm glad this movie exists.
Yeah. So, Amber, on the rock scale, regrettable, outstanding, crazyballs, or K, where would you put this movie?
This is kind of all of them.
Yeah.
This is one of those all of them movies.
It's a rock movie.
It's a full-on rock movie. It is outstanding in its representation, in some of its scenes, in some of its humor, like great little glimmers, in some of its action. It's regrettable in a lot of its racism and some of the cockamamie nonsense that happens in the plot, just glaring holes that we haven't even gotten into, and we don't need to.
Yep.
Aspects of it are K, because you just say, well, that exists.
Right. The plot
doesn't offend me.
Yeah, convoluted, and the dialogue's meh. Most of the time.
And then there's obviously Crazeballs. We told you about a football scene in which he just brutalizes them all by giving them the football and then kicking them and punching them and throwing them.
Getting to kick them. Yeah.
It's not how football works, but hey, why not? And then he runs to the end zone and spins the football. Touchdown. Yes, that's how it works. Excellent. Oh, and ARs. I mean, there's automatic rifles and suitcases at a business meeting.
Yes.
So
it's
Megan, do you have an Abby story?
Amber, I have another Maddie story, which is Maddie's at the age right now where she gets very excited about things, and she's got this really high-pitched, excited voice when she gets excited about something specific. For example, if there is a hop in the front yard, which means, a bunny rabbit hopping around. She loves hops. And she just, like, it's almost ultrasonic when she gets excited about something. And then the most adorable thing is when she gets excited about you, or gets excited about Abby. And her just high-pitched voice, goes to say, mommy or daddy or Abby's name. And it's very cute.
So, like, unless you can really hear in certain registers, you might... It might just seem like she's just gone completely silent, like she's not excited at all.
Exactly. Yeah. It's too high pitched to actually hear.
That's adorable.
Tragic. Amber, do you have a recommendation?
Let's do 2 recommendations.
Oh my.
Just real quick fire. On August 20th, check out Aaliyah's music, man. It's not all going to be available, but a decent chunk of it will. I highly recommend her stuff if you have not listened to it before. 1 in a Million was a very lauded album. Honestly, the tracks from this one are great. I had this, so obviously I'll think that. But get your bump on to some Aaliyah music on August 20th.
Yeah, 100%.
And the critics aren't wrong. There are better ways to take in Jet Li's martial arts prowess. So I recommend looking at any movie he made while he was in Hong Kong and before this movie was done. I feel like the good part about movies like this is that dum-dums like me, who are, like little 14-year-old Amber, encounters frickin' Romeo Must Die and like, oh my God, this is cool. And then once I hit, Once Upon a Time in China or The Legend or, even Black Mask, it blows my goddamn mind. So
Yep.
If a movie like this tickles your fancy, go check out his work in Hong Kong. It's delightful. The dude is very good.
Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what these movies are like doing. It's like we say his debut into Hollywood, but he's got all this back catalog of really impressive stuff before this.
Exactly. Megan, do you have a recommendation?
I do. Amber, The Crystal Kingdom came out for there's the Adventure Zone graphic novel. This is the 4th book-ish. 4th book of their graphic novel series. It's called The Crystal Kingdom. It's kind of the continuing adventures of this D&D game that they put into graphic novel form. I read it. It came out last month. It's delightful. People should get it.
Excellent.
First, second press. Get it from, your local bookstore.
Megan, this has been delightful. It's gone on too long. Why do you let me talk so much? I feel like this is I need to sit and listen more, I need to sit and listen. I need to just let the podcast happen with a little less of me. So Megan, just take it away.
Okay, I will end this podcast like I always do with Aaliyah's song, Rock the Boat.
Oh, I want to be mad at you, but also it's an Aaliyah song.
I know. That's why I framed it.
Oh, it's good. It's a good song too. It's a good song, but I'm mad at you, and this is why I talk so much. That's right. Because when we let you do things, this is what happens. It's this every time.
Yeah.
But seriously, you should go listen to Rock the Boat. Don't let her sour you on this. I'm mad at you. Have a good weekend, Cher.
Bye, Amber.